you though.
That's not gonna be. You know me, what was gonna happen. So you make the call, you make the call. I'm good.
He says something about I'm not going to be able to rewind it. Right now, it's 11:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January the 20th. So we're actually maybe about a minute or so behind. So it looks like to me, well, I'm listening to it. You can listen to the rewind it, obviously, when you're in. Is that, you know, he's saying like if you got to make the call, make the call. But then Barry Hunter's like, you know, something. He turns around and you hear Lamont Peterson like, no, I'm good. So let's listen to it. Please subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Errol Spence is just good. We're going to talk about what's likely next for him and all that jazz.
Stay right here by me. Look at me. Yeah. What's up? Seconds out. That's it. Yeah, I want to call.
The fight has been stopped. Errol Spence Jr. records his 10th consecutive stoppage win. And he continues to impress.
I'm going to mute it right there. And even though it's playing in the background, I can't show it. You know what I'm saying? So we can show some, but, you know, only certain stuff. But anyway, hold up. Anyway, you know, people thought that Lamont Peterson was going to get stopped, and he did get stopped. I did want him to throw more punches because if you notice when Lamont Peterson did work, he did good work, but he didn't impose his will on Errol Spence, you know, for Errol Spence being the bigger fighter. Okay, even though Lamont Peterson was huge in the ring, he's, as I said in my preview video, is that he's a 140-pound fighter fighting at 147, to whereas in my opinion, Errol Spence is a 154-pound fighter that could possibly see 160 one day fighting at 147. So even though Lamont Peterson was doing good work that would have knocked out smaller fighters, you know, or, you know, in regards to weight, in this case, it just, you know, Errol Spence was too strong for him. And Lamont Peterson's power, you know, we know that Lamont Peterson, even though he comes into the ring at 160 plus, he can't fight at 154. His power won't carry up. So they're taking Errol Spence's gloves off now. We're going to listen to the post-fight interview. Also, even though I didn't go to the fight tonight, I gave my credential to one of my colleagues, and he's out there right now, and that's how we were able to cover the weigh-in and the press conference. And we're going to be doing a live stream and watching a post-fight press conference on my backup channel. It's a long, long story. Let's hear. Let me unmute this and hear what they're talking about.
Person's life.
Well, you know,
from the streets, not here tonight, but you know what I'm saying. He loves him like a son.
And then you could tell in the way that stoppage went about. You know, Lamont didn't want to stop. He waited. Let's listen in.
And Lamont Peterson and Barry Hunter talked about how they didn't want this fight. There were other fights that that they were close to having. Keith Thurman, he said. Kell Brook. This is what Barry Hunter said, the trainer of Lamont Peterson. Even the Miguel Cotto fight. They said they had the Miguel Cotto fight. Also, you can tell they were irritated with the money that Errol Spence is supposed to be allegedly making, which is about $3.5 million. And most of that is to keep him away. One of the reasons for that was to keep him away from HBO, you know, and the deal that he was offered for Miguel Cotto, but also to, you know, compensate him for the layoff and what he's been, you know, going through. You know, let's go and watch a little bit of a replay. These were some hard shots he was taking, Lamont Peterson. you know. And he's taking,
as you said, was to the temple area and lost his equilibrium and went down. And that was the point where the fight really changed. I mean, Spence had been doing very well up to that point, but that's the point where it changed dramatically. And then from then on, Lamont Peterson was in a position where it was survival.
And yeah, that's true. That's exactly the point where the fight changed once he got that knockdown. And you can just tell that Errol Spence didn't respect his power, you know, or didn't respect Lamont Peterson. And Lamont Peterson was right there, and he was hitting Errol Spence with some clean shots. But like I said, he wasn't working hard enough, and he didn't impose his will on him, you know? So now I wonder, where does Lamont Peterson go from here? And more importantly, he has to stay active. You know, this is only his second fight in what, basically 2 years or something like that, or a little bit over. I forgot. We can go look at the resumes, but I want to wait. You know, I don't want to turn away from the post-fight interviews from the fighters. So when it comes to Errol Spence, we know that he wants Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is coming off of an injury. Keith Thurman is going to be returning in April. Showtime somewhat confirmed that today. The rumors are he's going to fight somebody like Jesse Vargas, even though he said he wanted a more. Well, let's look at this. Let me zoom this in. The numbers. I know you guys like to see the numbers. Looking for more of a tune-up fight. But he did say when I talked to him, and if you check out my last preview for Spence versus Peterson, it was an interview I did that I'm going to upload where he's talking about basically, we got to turn this up.
Just a really tough and courageous man this evening in Lamont. This was some kind of a performance by him, even though you were thoroughly dominant.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Lamont Peterson, man. You know, a lot of guys did turn down the fight, and he took it like a real warrior, like a real fighter, and I commend him for that.
Where did you feel as though you took control of this fight? Did you feel that the distance was in your favor from the beginning?
Definitely. My coach came with a great game plan, and I just followed through with it. He told me to keep my distance, use my jab, and keep my range, and just keep my composure if he tried to bring it on.
In the fifth round, you were able to knock Lamont down. Yet he got up and he battled back. He stayed in this thing. Did you think it was going to be over after that knockdown?
No. I know Lamont. Lamont, a tough fighter. You know, he's going to give it all he got. You know, he's willing to die in there. As you can see, his coach had to stop the fight because he wanted to keep going. You know, that's who Lamont is.
Now, you've now stopped your last 10 opponents, causing a stoppage in the fight. Where do you feel now you are with your game, and do you still see places where you can improve?
Definitely. I still can improve a lot of my defense and other ways in my craft. So you just got to keep protecting my skills, stay in the gym, and keep learning, and keep progressing. You're just going to see a better Errol Spence each time I get in the ring.
And we always want to look forward. And Keith Thurman will get back in the ring. I'm sure he'll have some type of a tune-up fight coming off the elbow surgery. Danny Garcia is going to fight coming up on Showtime. Perhaps Horn. What would you like to do with your next fight?
He wants to unify the division.
Everybody know I'm waiting on sometimes Thurman. You know, I've been waiting for a long time. Since I was 15-0, I've been calling this guy out, and he keep making excuse after excuses. He need to hurry up and come back, you know, fight a little tune-up fight, and then let's fight. I'm waiting on him. Let's get it on, man.
Errol, congratulations. Terrific performance.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I want to talk to Lamont.
You've got some kind of heart and tremendous courage. Of course, we've known that about you your entire life. What happened here this evening, your assessment?
He was getting the shots off early. You know, pretty much established everything with the jab. I pretty much knew he was, you know, that was going to be the case, but I was looking to get inside and start working. But, you know, he was the better man tonight.
This man right here has had your best interest. He saved your life once, and perhaps maybe he saved your life, or at least considerable damage here this evening. You wanted to go out and fight. Now that you've had a little time to reflect here, do you feel you did the right thing, Barry?
I'm gonna always respect, you know, his decision, and that's what I told him. You know, regardless, if he asked me to go out here and fight 1 million people, I'm gonna fight him. If he say that's it, then that's it.
Barry, was it hard to pull the plug, knowing that he wants to continue, but yet you have his best interest at heart?
It was really hard, because if you know Lamont, you know his heart, you know his courage, and soldiers usually down the battlefield sometime, and I knew he would have fought to the end, so I had to step up, because at the end of the day, this is my son, and I don't care nothing about boxing more than I care about him.
Well, you saved his life, as I said, many, many years ago, and tonight you protected him very, very well. Let me ask you about Errol Spence. Was this perhaps the best fighter that you fought?
Yeah, he stayed composed. He was able to get his shots off at any time. And so far, yeah, as far as class, he is a step ahead of the rest.
Would you like to fight again, or have you had enough?
That's something you have to think about, that I would have to think about. I can't just make that decision right now, but that's something definitely I have to think about in the next few weeks.
You've given us a lot of thrills. Tremendous respect and admiration for both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mauro, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Two tremendous ambassadors of the sport, Lamont Peterson and Barry Hunter, and there, well, a master class in boxing tonight from Errol Spence Jr. in his first title defense, wanting to be the last man standing in the welterweight division, and, well, he is well on his way to doing just that. Let's go back inside the ropes, Alan Pauly.
This fight in microcosm, it was a fight in which Errol Spence got off to a very quick start, as he normally does. He showed every weapon. You see the uppercut, the right hook to the body, the straight left hand. You name it, Errol Spence threw it throughout this fight. And as we said, a very quick start, but he stayed in the same gear, in a sense, for the entire fight. And finally, in that fifth round, would knock down Lamont Peterson.
Yeah, and you see that knockdown, Lamont.
We got to stop right there. I'm sorry. We got to stop right there. You know, we don't want to anger the powers that be. What was that doing? Anyway, yeah, you know. Okay, let me lay it out to you. Keith Thurman is the WBA and the WBC 147-pound champion. Errol Spence is the IBF 147-pound champion. Jeff Horn is the WBO 147-pound champion. What we're going to do is we're going to go look at, we can't look at any more of that. I'm going to have it play in the background for me, though, but not for you guys. Here, let me move this. Let me move this over here, because I need to see that. Let's go look at the 147-pound division. And we're going to talk about why these guys are not fighting Errol Spence and what they're all doing. So, as I said, you have Keith Thurman, who's the WBC and WBA 147-pound champion. He wants a tune-up fight when he comes back, or a fight that's not, you know, that a fight that he can win, basically, you know, and get the rust off. So, as you can see, when you're a champion, you have to fight somebody in the top 15. The name they're talking about is Jesse Vargas. Now, of course, he can fight, you know, a guy like a Ray Robinson or a Muhammad Miunyi, or, you know, whatever his name is, no disrespect. But these fights won't sell, and the networks don't want to hear that. It's got to be somewhat of a name. So in the case of the WBC, the only names that come to mind is Jesse Vargas, you know, maybe Adrian Granados, you know, but Sean Porter for Adrian Granados and beat him. So Keith Thurman, really, it would be a bad look for him to take that fight. Then you look at the WBA, my God, it's not really nothing there. Now, we're talking about known names for a champion to be fighting, for people to say, why are you fighting this guy, not Errol Spence? You know, now, if he says, well, you know, Jesse Vargas is a tough tune-up fight, you know, for me and everything, they can sell that. But then Keith Thurman has two mandatories. The first mandatory is Sean Porter, and the second, who Angel Garcia said had a rematch clause, would be the winner of Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios if Danny Garcia wins. To trump all of that, in order to get out of the fight in your mandatory, you can fight somebody else for another belt, which is a unification, meaning he could fight the winner of Jeff Horn and Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. So Keith Thurman's in a situation where it looks like that 2018 is not going to be a 3-fight 2018 like he said he wanted, but maybe a 2-fight. He could do 3 fights in 2018 if he does something like, let's say in a perfect world, if Keith Thurman, you know, beats Jesse Vargas when he returns, if it is Jesse Vargas, then he goes on to fight Sean Porter, you know, and beats Sean Porter. Let's say they do that fight in August or September. Then in December, you know, of this year, he can fight Errol Spence if their schedules match up, and obviously if Errol Spence keeps winning, or in January, no later than January or February of 2019 is pushing it, So it's possible, but the thing is, what Errol Spence wants is he wants to leapfrog Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter is looking like, no, I'm going to get him first, and Shawn Porter and Errol Spence won't fight each other, even though Errol Spence may want to fight Shawn Porter. Kenny Porter, from what I've learned, is very close with Errol Spence, and it's one of those type of situations where they will only fight if they really, really, really had to, and it could possibly happen before we see Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter. But Shawn Porter already stated, and Kenny Porter already stated, which is an interview I'm going to upload to the channel, and they said it on Showtime, is that they're not trying to screw themselves over. So we're not fighting until we get Keith Thurman. Period. So it's a lot of politics going on when it comes to why Errol Spence can't get the fights that he wants, but at the same time these guys are like he's too much of a high risk right now, and there's not enough money in him. So they're building him up in New York, as you can see. They have him doing more media rounds, as you can see, and trying to get his profile up. So therefore guys like Danny Garcia will say, all right, well, there's money in him, and everything like that. I'm gonna go out there and try to fight him. But right now, he is the king of the 147-pound division. It's like this. Now, this is what I'm saying. Keith Thurman is the WBC and the WBA unified champion. He's the money outside of Manny Pacquiao in that division. So technically, he is the king of active champions. But then people say Errol Spence is the king because they feel that he can beat everybody in the 147-pound division, right? You have a guy like Terrence Crawford, who is the boogeyman of the 147-pound division. They're like, once Terrence Crawford get here, he going to fuck everybody up, except for maybe Errol Spence. So you have Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, or Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, as the super fight right now of the 147-pound division. So Errol Spence's name is all over, and they're trying to get him that global casual fan appeal, which is one of the reasons why they put him in New York, even though a lot of fans feel like he should be fighting in Dallas or in the Texas area at this point in time in his career, But now he's in the deep end, He's in the deep end now. Now the question is, who is he going to fight next? And in my opinion, it might be somebody like Luis Collazo. Him and Luis Collazo was in the works, or there was some talks about Errol Spence versus Luis Collazo. They may do for Errol Spence's next fight, since they can't secure a good enough an opponent for him, like a star quality. They may do like a coming home fight. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. You know how they like to, do those fights, promoters, every now and then when they can't get the fight that their fighter wants, they say, well, we're going to send you home for a homecoming fight. It's the perfect time to do it. And it might be somebody like Luis Collazo. I'm not even bullshitting you, So remember, when you want to think about who's Errol Spence's possible next opponent can be, always, every single month, go check the IBF rankings on the IBF website, or simply go to my website, fightview360.com. And where's it at? There we are. And we have the rankings right here for you. So as it stands right now, it's one of these guys he would have to fight if he can't get, a Keith Thurman or a Jeff Horn. It's going to be one of these guys, Or, if they pull a power move and say Shawn Porter, Errol Spence got to fight. But like I said, when it comes to, the relationship these two have in regards to Kenny Porter, then they're not going to fight each other. I think a lot of people already know that Danny Garcia is not going to fight Errol Spence, so you can count him out, Maybe they can say, well, Diego Chavez, but Diego Chavez just lost his last fight when he was supposed to be building himself up to be, a potential opponent for these guys. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Shout out to the team. We covered this fight, even though I didn't go personally. I gave up my credential at the last minute, basically so I can be able to do this here with you guys and not be running around New York having adventures and shit on a late night. All the links to my social media right down below. We're pumping out 40-plus videos a week. We've provided full coverage for this fight. The post-fight press conference is going to be coming up. I'm going to be doing a live stream on another channel, on my backup channel, that I'm going to be putting a bulletin out. So basically, if you want to see the live stream, what you would do is you would type in Spence versus Peterson post-fight live, and you'll see the channel will say TstreeT After Dark. It'll be about a 2-hour or so video, and then I'll upload it onto this channel, but I have to go live on the other channel. Please subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.